Hey guys, welcome back to the channel Everyday Carry for the Everyday Guy. So today's video is going to be a bit different. You could call it a review. It's more a review of the week's happenings here in Cape Town and South Africa. So it's been a bit of a week for us, and what I'm going to center around is the gender-based violence and the protests and that sort of thing. Now, the reason I'm making this video is simply because I haven't seen enough social media outlets saying what I'm going to say, which is sort of the unpopular things. I've seen a lot of influencers. I hate the term. I've had one or two people, ask me if that's what I want to be, and I'm more look at myself as a gear reviewer versus an influencer. I never want to influence people to do anything, but I've seen a number of influencers, say exactly what you think they were going to say and do exactly what you think they were going to do. Hold up posters saying men shouldn't do this and protect our women, etc., which is valid. But I don't see it as a solution to the problem. I see it as sort of jumping on the bandwagon of something that has been happening for a very long time, but not been approached in social media as aggressively. And had it not been so aggressively mediaized, I think a lot of people wouldn't have even been involved in it. So long story short, the reason I'm doing this video is because basically I've only seen one Facebook group say exactly what I think is an actual solution to the problem, and that's a group called Paritas.info. Check them out on Facebook. So first off, this week has been like crazy for me with emails from men and women about how they can better provide protection for their partners, their kids, etc. And something I want to get out of the way is please do not assume, as many of you do, that as a woman, if your boyfriend, husband, or father has a firearm, was in the military, the police, whatever the case may be, that they are going to be able to protect you all the time. I have a news flash for you. Most of the women and children who are abducted, who are assaulted, etc., have fathers, brothers, boyfriends, husbands, whatever the case may be, who at that time were simply not available. These criminals know what they're doing. And so basing your safety on your partner is a lot like getting on a motorcycle with someone and saying, well, because they have a helmet, I don't need to wear a helmet. It's that kind of thing. So please get over the idea. And guys, get over the idea that because you carry a gun, your partner doesn't need to carry a gun, or because you are prepared mentally or physically, or because you're a bodybuilder, whatever the case may be, that you're somehow going to always be able to protect your partner. That is a misconception. And it's not something you want to learn the hard way. As you know, we had the protest, and I suppose it was a really well turned out. I think it was a really good opportunity for people to come together and sort of get a degree of solace and emotional support for the situation, especially for the ladies. So I get where that's coming from, right? And we had our president come out and had a nice speech, and he sort of outlined what the plan is in a very broad stroke. And it does kind of come down to what I heard. More news may have come out since I filmed this video to the date of release. So if I'm a bit delayed, just, bear with me. But it's sort of what I got from it was that part of that solution was harsher prison sentences for people convicted of this type of crime. Now, that is, in my opinion, remember guys, everything is an opinion on this channel, nothing is a recommendation. In my opinion, a very long-winded, long-term solution to an extremely immediate problem. That may work, down the line, which is great, and it's going to be awesome, hopefully, if it does work. But right now, in the immediacy of the problem, that's not really, in my opinion, a solution. And so I'm going to sort of give you an example of what I'm talking about here, and you kind of need to just let your mind flow, but I'm going to use metaphors and you'll sort of see what I'm saying. So from what I'm getting, what has been recommended is just use your imagination. You imagine the government or the police or whoever says, listen, every single woman, we're going to give you a fence. Okay, and you put this fence around your body, you put this fence like an item of clothing, you put it on, and when you put this on, you are basically secure from all crime. No one can come near you. And this is like the solution to the problem. It's maybe the fence is invisible, I don't know, but just use your imagination, and they give you this vest, you put the vest on, it comes with a fence around it, and when you're wearing that, you are safe. Okay. And so to make it fair, we're going to issue these fences in alphabetical order. The government or whoever's building can only build like 10 of them a day. So in order for it to be fair, we're going to start with A and work our way down to Z, and eventually every single woman's going to have this fence that she wears. And when she wears it, nothing can come near, nothing can touch her. She is good to go, she is safe. So in like the first months, women get these fences, and like if you're lucky enough to have your name and same sort of the A, like Angie Ann, you get your fence first. So little Angie or grown-up Angie gets her fence, she puts it on, and she goes jogging at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and like no one can come near. And it's awesome. And the solution is working. It's great. It's working for Angie. And a few more women get their fences, and it's like, wow, this is actually the answer. Then about a year later, the fence is still being issued, but they are only on names starting with a letter like C. So it's been a year, okay? So women whose names start with M and J, for example, are thinking, man, this is going to take a long time, and the violence against them is continuing. So yes, there are people who are made more safe by this new tactic, but the violence is continuing against those who have not been made safe yet. Eventually it gets to a point 3 years down the line where they're only giving fences to ladies whose name starts with the letter F. At this point, there's still got such a long way to go to get to the end of the alphabet, and at this point more ladies have been born whose name starts with the letter A, so it's just a continuing cycle. And some of these women, and here's a solution, here's a plausible solution, some of these women decide, you know what, instead of me waiting for my own fence, why don't I go and study up on how to build my own fence, and then get the tools and the equipment and the materials, and I'll build my own fence. Okay, and I'll walk around with my own fence for a while until the government gets to me, or until who's ever providing those fences gets to me and they give me one, and now I don't need to wear my one anymore. Now I can wear the one provided to me, and it's great. And in the space of 3 months, so many fences have been built that finding women or children without fences for criminals is so difficult that they become discouraged by doing this, because every time they go near someone, they've got a fence and they're like, ah, I got caught, I wasn't able to do anything, and I just wasted my time trying to assault this person. That is a metaphor for what I think is the actual solution. Okay? The fences are examples of communities made safer by criminals going to jail for longer terms for committing these types of crimes. Okay? That's only going to happen after the fact. The crime first has to be committed in order for the criminal to be caught and taken off the street. So it's a very slow process. And I might add, it's a process that is of little solace to the person who the crime was committed against. I guarantee you, if you ask any of those women who had to suffer through what they have to suffer through, and those who unfortunately lost their lives, if they can go back and say, listen, the person who attacked you doesn't go to jail, but you also don't get attacked, they'd be like, you know what, I would rather just not be attacked. Okay, I know it might sound a bit selfish, but I truly believe that'll be the real answer. And those families, they would happily say, take that person out of prison and reverse it so that there was no attack on my daughter or my child, and they're still with us and they're still alive and we can still live happily. So the concept of punishing people more harshly is the right direction, but it is not the answer or the immediate answer to the problem. The immediate solution is for the people who are potential victims to acquire the tools and skills required to defend themselves from potential attackers. It's kind of like this, guys. A wolf is not going to stop attacking a sheep because the sheep complains about it, right? You sort of understand what I'm saying? And that's the reality of the situation. The wolf will not attack the sheep when the sheep become sheepdogs or when the sheep fight back. So it's very important to understand that you've got to match the solution to the problem with the severity of the problem. Another metaphor, if you have a building that's flooded, you can't go in there with a mop, right? You're never gonna solve that problem. You have to get industrial pumps and pump the water out and that sort of thing. Similarly, if you are being attacked by someone with a threat of deadly force against your life, you have to respond in kind with the threat of deadly force against their life. And I know there's the old adage of violence begets more violence, but what is even worse is violence uncontrolled. Okay, violence uncontrolled will just grow that level of violence, and it'll just get worse and worse and worse. Sometimes you need to be violent once in order to prevent violence from continuing. The sad part is everybody who has influence isn't saying this. People who truly have influence, who truly have huge amount of followings, are not coming out on social media and saying, hey guys, the solution here is for you to go down to your local firearm store and apply and get some training, whether it be with a firearm, pepper spray, or just a simple avoidance and awareness course. Now, I know a lot of people think, well, what do I know? I've been hijacked violently. Okay. I was beaten with a brick. They had to like literally take, what's like a nylon stitching to pull the skin on my freaking head back together again. So I know the story. And so since then, I have bettered my understanding of street smartness in terms of defense. But it took that to happen for me to realize I needed to do that. And so I hope this video at least makes some of you realize, you know what? How's about I don't let it happen to me and learn from somebody else? Learn from all these women. You know, if there's something these women who have suffered can do, it is to inspire more women to go out and seek the necessary training and tools so that they don't become victims of the same crime. There is no value to crime, but the only thing you can take from it is a lesson. And this situation is out of control, and it's only going to get back into control when the potential victims turn the tables. Now, it's not going to be an easy process, it's not going to be a quick process, but it's certainly going to be quicker than just doing nothing. Because I have another news flash for you. The people that commit these crimes are not prepared to go to jail. They're not intending to go to jail. So they're going to commit them anyway. They don't do it with the thought, okay, well, I'm going to go to jail for a really long term after this, so I'm rather not going to do it. Their plan is to do it and get away with it. So the threat of a longer jail sentence is only really going to dissuade, you know, a couple of them maybe. And the people who do this, are they even following what's happening on social media? They're probably not. I understand the support system social media can provide, and that's great, but someone has to come out and say, listen guys, we can support each other, that's all good and well, but at some point we have to provide the solution. And the solution is for the people who are the potential victims to educate themselves to a point where they are no longer victims, where they are combatants. You're not going to win every fight, okay? When I was hijacked, I had done Muay Thai for 8 or 9 years. I'd done 4 years of Jiu-Jitsu. I thought I was the business. Okay, you're not going to win every fight. The more victories there are, the more the word will spread, the more this thing, I believe, will diminish. If you have a moment, go on to panitas.info's site on Facebook, read what they say there. They're super honest, they're super direct, and they make sense even more than what I'm making sense here now. And the crazy part is, this isn't a new thing. Men have been preying on women for ages. Jack the Ripper, back in, I don't even know when, preyed on women, okay? That could be considered gender-based violence. So this isn't a new thing. It's just because it's trending now on social media that everybody's up in arms about it, but this has been happening for ages. I encouraged my girlfriend to go and do James Smart Street Smarts course, something like 4 years. Sorry, it wasn't Street Smart, it was a woman empowerment course and the Street Smart course. Something like 4 or 5 years ago. That's when this thing was out of control already. And I don't believe you can put a value on the control of violence against innocent people. If someone who is innocent has an extremely violent act performed on them, that in itself is out of control. Because I want you to think about this. A lot of people say, well, I live in a safe area based on crime stats. Crime stats are a myth. So let me just put that out there. Because a crime stat is based on your location when the crime is happening. Let me give you an example. If you're driving through a relatively safe area and the crime happens and you are involved, the crime stat in that area for you is 100% because you have just been involved in a crime in that area. It does not matter what the internet says, the potential, it's got nothing to do with it. It's a matter of timing, where you are when the crime is happening. The reality is, unless there is no crime, the crime stat is 100% for the people involved. It's your job to ensure that you are not involved. Simple avoidance and awareness courses can literally save your life, and it's things you do without even realizing it. In the beginning, looking out for these things that make a difference, it is difficult. Like you're looking at guys with their hands hidden, you're looking at guys who are self-grooming, you're looking at people who are standing in a shopping mall on a hot day wearing a hoodie, a pea cap and sunglasses, and it's hard to see it, okay? You have to really look out for it, but eventually you begin to pick it up way more easily. I use the example to people who ask me of a pink giraffe on the road. Imagine you are driving and you see a pink giraffe in the middle of the road. It doesn't take any brain power to realize that does not belong there. Why? Because your brain is in tune to what should belong there. Similarly, with avoidance and awareness courses, in the beginning, your brain is not sure, but as you practice it, your brain becomes in tune with what should and should not be there, and you subconsciously pick up the indicators of things that may seem suspect. And 99% of the time, you're going to avoid it, and it's going to be nothing, okay? It's well worth it for that 1% of the time when it is something. These courses are available. Search for James Smart on Instagram. He has a Street Smart course. There's a guys in Johannesburg, Bravo Tactical. There's Arno Barlow. People doing these courses, providing these solutions to this problem, to the community. These are literal immediate solutions, because the only way you're going to prevent something happening to yourself is to protect yourself. The police can't get there in time. We can double the amount of police. They can't be on everybody's doorstep at the same time. It's just impossible. So the answer to this question is for the victim to protect themselves and turn themselves from victims to combatants. Criminals don't want combat, okay? They want victims. The moment someone puts up a fight, statistics show that a large percentage of the time, potential criminals just cut and run when they realize this, I'm going to meet resistance. So it's vital that this concept is pushed forward onto potential victims, which currently, and I don't want to say currently, it's always been gender-based and sort of age-based against children and things like that. It's nothing new. It's just because it's trending on social media now that people think it's new. And the sad part is I have to make this video, which I don't mind making because I do this, you know, I enjoy doing it. So few people who have such a massive following are saying what I'm saying, that the solution is for the potential victims to go and arm themselves with the tools required to solve this problem. I hope that made sense. I'm sorry if you were expecting something different. I do different videos where I review gear, but I think it is a review of a really relevant topic, and I think it is based on the everyday carry concept, which is preparedness. So I hope you take good things from it. Remember guys, everything on the channel is an opinion, nothing is a recommendation. So don't take everything as absolute. Go out and learn for yourself. I hope you guys had a really good week, and I hope you guys have a safe week. I will see you soon for another review. Cheers. God bless.